Hello, good morning, and welcome to this Dawn Busters Taste Challenge. I had to wait for the train to pass. It was blaring its horn. Still passing, but they're flying down the tracks. The Kansas City Southern Railroad eastbound towards New Orleans. I don't think they're supposed to go that fast through the town, but they pretty much do what they want. They just full speed. Yeah, well, at least you don't get caught waiting too long where they're flying through. Some towns, they're real strict, and it just kind of just limp through the town. You'd be waiting, seem like forever. All right, 2 American blended whiskeys. We have Old Thompson, introduced in 1904, 116 years ago, by the Thompson brothers, who were the new owners of Glenmore Distilling. Glenmore was bought out by Barton. And then in 2009, Barton was bought out by Sazerac. So they talk about how great it is, expertly blended and all that. You can read the label. If you look on the Total Wine website, you can bring it up, zoom in. It says GD on the label. Like Edith said, Archie, you never say GD. You never say Glenmore Distillery. Okay. Bottled in Kentucky. Premium. For $7.99 a liter, no less. Then it says on the bottleneck, Sazerac.com. So there's your giveaway. I bought this bottle in Kentucky. I've never seen it in Louisiana. Barton. Premium American whiskey, a blend, with its fancy ivy encrusted label, with its red ribbon. Now, Barton is a whole brand, a whole line of different spirits. Barton American blended, the red ribbon. There's a Barton rum, dark and light, maybe overproof and spiced. Barton vodka, Barton gin, all that. And they all have a different color ribbon if you look or do an internet search. This was introduced, from what I could find. The trademark was acquired for Barton American blended whiskey in 1949. 1949, so nearly 75 years old. And look, we're at the final countdown to Barton. I bought this at a place called Smoker Friendly liquor store / tobacco shop on United States Highway 62. I think it's 62. In Frankfort, Kentucky, not far from the Buffalo Trace Distillery. At the intersection of 127 north and south, United States Highway 127 north-south, says 2 routes going through there. The 127 goes north-south and the 62 east-west. So it's on the 62 westbound, right on that corner before you get to 127. And I was at the hotel and I said, Smoker Friendly, I got to check this out. Who knows what I'll find? Well, one thing I found, it was full of smoke. They were smoking in there. Puffs of smoke everywhere. Oh, sorry. Yeah, not sorry. 62 and 60 come together there. That's why I was getting confused. Let's see. 60 and 127. Yeah, that's it. Not 62, 60. That's the real cross-country highway. If it ends in a 0, then it goes. If the end in a 0, it goes way across. From the East Coast at the Atlantic Ocean, and then it goes all the way. And then they renamed it California Highway 60 into downtown Los Angeles. You can get on that and go all the way. It's true story. True story. True story. U.S. Highway 60, Atlantic Ocean to downtown Los Angeles, right by Dodger Stadium, California. But like I say, was renamed California did some strange things in 1964 with their highway numbering and renamed it California 60. I don't know why you would want to do that, but they did. Okay, so Smoker Friendly had this bottle, and it came up to $6.35 after tax, $6.35 post tax. There's also some stuff I bought there called Very Old Barton, which is their straight bourbon. Then there's like an 80 proof, a Very Old Barton 90 proof. There's a Very Old Barton like it's like 100 proof. But I've never seen those in Louisiana either. The only Barton we get in Louisiana is Barton 1792 from the Barton 1792 distillery in more western Kentucky, Bardstown. And we get those, Barton 1792. But they're much more expensive. They're above premium bourbons. They're not like this, value priced, or even just premium bourbon like Very Old Barton. They did let us try some Very Old Barton at the distillery, and I thought, well, that's pretty good. So I bought a bottle, little 375 milliliter plastic bottle at a liquor store. Was cheap. All right, so who's going to win? It'd probably be close. Now, Barton is bottled in Los Angeles and Kentucky. So I guess in California, there's a bottling plant where they blend it and bottle it for the western states. And in Kentucky, it's done for, I guess, east of the Mississippi River. If you've ever had Barton, let me know, because it says, we love to hear from our customers, Sazerac.com. So there you go. Window Beer Review says, hi. Oh, can't read. I need a glass. Window Beer Review with Thomas says, hi. Hello to you. Reverend 20 Piece said, good morning. Good morning to you. Okay. Joe Hill says, hey, Ron, longtime viewer, first-time commenter. Well, that's okay. Have you ever been to the Upper Peninsula of Michigan? Some pretty good beer to be found up here. Yes. In 1998, I think it was. I drove all the way up U.S. Highway 51, which starts here, and it goes straight up, like almost like the most vertical straight line you ever saw for a highway. And it just ends at the Michigan border, at the junction of U.S. Highway 2. Okay, so it says end of 51, it just ends. And then so when it ends, you intersect with U.S. Highway 2, and immediately you cross this little river or a creek. It might be a river, but to me it looked like a creek. And then it says welcome to Michigan and all of this, and that's the Upper Peninsula part. So I drove along too. I went to see Lake Superior, and then I drove along too. And at Lake Superior was like full of rust, you know, like they had like these iron mines over there somewhere, and it was all red, looking like some had rusted in it. And I drove along too, and then they had some sections say Old Highway 2, but I didn't get on that. Should have. And then when I got to another U.S. highway, like number 45, I went down through Wisconsin. So it was really pretty up there, but I didn't get any beer. I was just looking at the woods and the little towns. And then when I was in Wisconsin, I stopped at a gas station because I needed gas. And that Ford Mustang, and which got great gas mileage, by the way. And they had wine. It was like sort of like homemade wine. I mean, it was a brand of wine, but it was obviously probably made at somebody's house, and maybe they had like a little facility behind the house, and it was blackberry wine. And I said, wow, this is really good. Long before I started doing video reviews. Tan. Okay, that makes 10. Tan. Same appearance. Same blend ratio, 80-20, 80% grain spirits or unaged raw corn whiskey, corn liquor, or or moonshine that people pay all this money to buy. I don't know why. It's because you put it in a mason jar, and you put one of the little caps on it and a nice label, and you say moonshine. And people say, "Ooh, I'm gonna pay $26 or whatever," and I'm like, "You're just buying unaged corn ethanol. You're buying ethanol." At least bourbon is aged a minimum. Straight bourbon is aged a minimum of 2 years in charred oak barrels, new charred oak barrels. But whatever. So it's 80% grain spirits, just straight corn, grits. You go through that distilling process. It's clear. They cut it with tap water to 80 proof. I know because I was at the distillery and I said, well, what do y'all do? You just pour water in it from the faucet till you get it down to 80 proof? And the tour guide, she admitted her uncle worked there. That's how those girls get the jobs. Their uncle or their daddy works there. Same thing at Anheuser-Busch. Is that wrong? No. I mean, I would do the same thing. But they're all like in-house people. She said, yeah, they just put faucet water in it. Then they get it to 80 proof. And because it's 190. And then they blend it with, well, whatever they're blending it with, straight bourbon. Because they make a lot of bourbon there. And bourbon is not expensive to make. It's just corn. Okay, with some rye. Whiskey, single malt whiskey, barley malt whiskey, single malt whiskey, and maybe some wheat whiskey, or whatever mash bill you want to make. Doesn't matter. There's no law. There's no law. As long as it's 51% corn, then that's it. You can put whatever other grains in it and make bourbon. The only requirement here is that it has to be at least 20% straight whiskey, okay? 20% straight whiskey minimum. Can it be more than 20? Of course. I have some of these in my cabinet right now that are, one is 25% straight whiskey and one of them is 27.5% straight whiskey. Now with Scotch, I have never read any articles or seen any sources demanding by law that it have to be a certain percentage of single malt. So I don't know. It has to be aged 3 years. I know that after blending. In America, they don't have to age at all after blending. They can. They don't have to. Ron, would you be interested in some girthy local women who call themselves the Ronrico twins? Probably. Let's see. If you have less than 20% straight whiskey, you have to call it spirit whiskey. Spirit whiskey, which is another class of whiskey you can buy. I know Mathern's has some from Texas. Rebecca Creek Spirit Whiskey. It's like, I don't know, like 19% straight bourbon. And I'm like, man, I would not pay $22 for basically ethanol with a little bit of bourbon thrown in. But they got a fancy bottle with a pretty cork cap and people buy it. Maybe they like it. Maybe it's good. I don't know. I can't judge it. I never had it. I'm just saying it doesn't seem like it would be too delightful, but never judge a book by its cover unless you cover another. Dallas Cowboys, good morning, Ron. Glad you to be up finally. Watch you live. God bless and keep up the good work. Oh, thank you. What does this smell like? Very watered down, faint bourbon whiskey. So think of Jack Daniels, but with like 80% less aroma. You know what I'm saying? A little bit of wood, a little bit of charred oak, a little bit of vanilla, a little bit of what we would generally associate with whiskey, but it's so faint and washed out. You say, oh, well, by design, though, remember now, this is designed to be like that. So you can't attack a product for being what it's made to be. You could just avoid the product, right? So that always cracks me up when people will say, I hate that kind of whiskey. It's terrible. Well, no, it's not terrible because you hate it. You just hate it. You know, and they'll say, well, it's so bland. It's so watered down. It's so, mild. And I say, yeah, but it's supposed to be like that. I don't know. I'm not in love with it either, to be honest with you. To me, it's kind of bland too, but I mean, I'm not under any obligation to purchase it. It's like criticizing light beer because it's thin and watery. Yeah, isn't it? Or that student criticizing my military history class because he said, this class ain't nothing but wars and battles, wars and battles. And the rest of the kids said, what? They told that guy, what? And one guy, I think his name was Larry, he said, what did you think the class was going to be about? It's military history. This one is a little spicier in the nose. Like there's some spice. I don't mean like pepper, but maybe more like a peppermint spice, a mentholated thing. Now, is there a lot of excitement happening with these two? No. And why would there be? $5.99 for a 750, or and I can get cheaper whiskey here, or $7.99 for a liter. You're not going to get anything too exciting. Typically. I know where to get a blended whiskey brand for $5.99 a liter. Not $7.99 like a Total Wine. $5.99 a liter. I can barely stand it though. It tastes like it ought to be that price. Stinking Clubhouse. Clubhouse gin is pretty good though. I noticed at Total Wine they had Clubhouse gin last time I was over there. I said, should I, could I, would I repurchase it? I said, nah. But it did have a very unique, it did have a unique flavor. There's no such thing as very unique, because unique means totally unlike anything else. So you can't be very totally, you're either totally unlike anything else or you're not totally unlike anything else. So, but I didn't buy it. I bought straight bourbon whiskey for $5.99 a liter at Savannah Discount. Bellows. They had some. I bought it, went back, never saw it again. You know, people clean that out. They must have had they probably had a few cases, but it was gone like the wind, and gone with the wind too. Because for that kind of price, straight bourbon for $5.99 in Louisiana, it's gone, because Louisiana is a drinking state with a football problem. That's our state motto: a drinking state with a football problem. So that's what that is. Taste time. Well, if, like I said yesterday afternoon for Monday's review, you say you did Monday's review on Friday. Yes. Monday's taste challenge was held on Friday. I said then that it tastes like just whiskey. If you stop someone randomly and said, taste this, what does it taste like to you? And they would say, some kind of whiskey, I guess, assuming they had tried whiskey before. They may not like it. They may not. I think most of you just be indifferent to it. Like, you could take it or leave it. It's not bad. You're not going to taste it and go, oh, it's stomach turning. No, it's just like average. Okay. Remember I talked about that menthol nose? The flavor is even more mentholated. You say, what? Yeah, I'm saying the same thing. What? So I don't know how you would feel about a whiskey that has a very noticeable, like a menthol tobacco. It has a tobacco. Some of these whiskeys have a yellow tobacco feature, like a Levi Garrett chewing tobacco type thing. But this particular item, it's amazing that it would have such a menthol thing. I don't know how to explain that, but it's, whoa, whoa. It's noticeable. Can't get around it. So, if you like menthol, then this could be something that could let me entertain you type thing. If you don't like menthol, you would be like Kids in the Hall, you know what I'm saying? Like Pall Mall or the Yellow Submarine type situation. Okay, no menthol, but some sourdough bagel. And I was going to tell Daniel Newman, who was doing the Old Crow, he didn't know how to describe sour mash whiskey. And I said, but then the video ran out. I'll tell him on Alcohol Eggs. I said, think about it like a sourdough bagel, Linder's or Thompson or something like that. It isn't. It's like, notice I said like a sourdough bagel. It's not identical to it. It's in that realm. It's in that ballpark. It's in that region. It's in that territory. It's in that district or that quadrant. That's the best way I can describe it. Okay, so do these taste alike? I don't think so. You might say, oh, it's all the same whiskey with different labels. Everybody knows that. Well, they might know it, but I don't know why they don't all taste the same. And I'm doing it blind, so you can't say I'm favoring one over the other or I'm being influenced, with some kind of in deep-seated embedded bias, because how could that be? I don't know which is which right now. I think I know, though. I'm almost certain I know now by tasting them. Appearance, no. Clear, tan. Aroma, not the same. Taste, definitely not the same. Sour mash. Okay. Sourdough. That one's a little bit country. And that one's a little bit rock and roll because it's minty. It's also minty. That Newport Pleasure, says Reverend 20 Peace. That Newport Pleasure. So you got to understand these deep concepts. Menthol. Whoa. I don't mean it's like York peppermint patty. I'm not going to suddenly have this icy breeze hit me. I'm not going to be like Ozzy Osbourne in 1972 talking about, that chilling glow. It's not that kind of thing, but it's my eyes are blind, but I can see. The snowflakes glisten. I did see the snowflakes glisten on the trees in 2017. Then the snow was never again here. I miss smoking Newport, says Johnny Tactical. Now they all talking about cigarettes. Okay. Well, like John Lennon said, well. We have to make a determination. And I'll give you everything you've got. I'll give you everything I've got. I'll give you I'll give you everything I've got for a little piece of mind. Okay, so here we go. Around and round and round we go. Where this stops, no one knows, except that it will stop for the news at the top of the hour. All right, so this is the Old Thompson. It is a standard sourdough, sour mash tasting blended thing. Is it worth $7.99 a liter? Yes. Is it worth more than $7.99 a liter? I wouldn't say so. I would not say so. So here we go. OT. OT, Old Thompson. Overtime. Call me for some overtime. All right, OT. Please be it. Our Chihuahua. I'm so tired. I can't believe I got it wrong. I can't believe I ate the whole thing. You ate it, Ralph. Oh, man. This is the Old Thompson with its strange peppermint thing going. Well, like I say, you taste whiskey A against B, it'll taste one way. You put it up against whiskey C, it'll taste another way. Against D, another way. Against E, another way. Against F, another way. Never seen it any other way. Never seen it any other way. Never seen it any other way. All right, quite a few craft breweries in the United Peninsula, the Upper Peninsula, but most Yoopers drink Labatt. Makes sense. Okay, well, I got it wrong and I don't know what to do about it. But I'm not going to worry about it. So bye-bye, Barton. It's all gone. It's been a nice run. Not a particularly exciting run, but, you know, fair to Midland. It says G on the back. I bet that's Glenmore. I bet that's Glenmore or less. Bardstown, Kentucky, though. Oh, yeah, Glenmore Distilleries. They're also registered at Bardstown, right? Huh? Owensboro and Bardstown. Dallas Cowboys says, enjoying a Steel Reserve 8.1% while watching this. Cheers. You going to drink high gravity malt liquor this early in the morning? Good grief. You say you're passing judgment. I am passing judgment. I did not drink whiskey. I was just tasting it. I was simply tasting it. Now, of course, I wasn't going to spit it out. I didn't pay money to spit it out and just be wasteful. Waste not, want not. A penny saved is a penny earned. That's American history now. So would I ever dream of drinking whiskey at 5:30 a.m.? I'm pretty sure I would never do that. Did I ever review a beer at 5 a.m.? Yes, but that was for that was for marketing reasons because I was reviewing Brewdog's 5 a.m. Saint red ale. I said, well, I would have to review this at exactly 5 a.m. with a breakfast. And I believe that was a breakfast from Popeyes. They are enormous grits, eggs, and sausage breakfast. So that was the reason for that. Well, anyway, ha, 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 wink, wink, nudge, nudge, say no more. Thanks for watching this video production. Now it's on to the news. And we'll see what happens in college football today, unless they suddenly cancel it because of the fear-mongering scamdemic. Thank you very much.